leaders of Epic City did, they were very strategic in the way they created this development so that they were able to make it so that only Muslims would be able to buy this property, but they knew they could not say that. So they had to create program after program after program, and which would create certain buying arrangements and certain reporting arrangements, all that kind of stuff, that would allow a structure that on its face, you don't find any words that they're banning people who are not Muslim. And it required lawyers, like what we have, to be able to look at the details of this and find out that the development structure as designed, like Candy said, would prohibit anybody from actually selling a property they bought. They would have to go to the leaders of Epic City, and the leaders of Epic City would decide whether or not the person you want to sell it to is suitable. And what does that mean? What it means as applied to Epic City is whether you are or you're not Muslim. So let's be clear about this, what the law does. It makes clear, regardless of which religion it is, people are not going to be able to establish these comprehensive, large-scale developments that limit only people of one religious belief to that area. And you can only buy if you're part of that religion, you can only sell if you're part of that religion. Religious discrimination is in violation of Texas law, and this provides a detailed roadmap about how to prevent developments like that from taking place in Texas. This is an issue that so many people, not just in this area, but across the entire state of Texas, have been very concerned about, and that is this Epic City project. What is it? What does it mean? What are the consequences of it? So we wanted to make sure that we passed a law that would fully address those concerns. One of the issues at stake is the freedom of religion. Another issue at stake is what's called the right to contract. The fact is, religious freedom is a central part of the Texas Constitution. But bad actors like Epic and Epic City tried to use religion as a form of segregation. Epic proposed an Islamic-only development just outside of Plano. They provided that buying property in the development was structured so that only Muslims would be able to buy that property. They also structured it so that owners who had bought it, a piece of property there, but wanted to later sell it to someone, they were required to sell it only to people who were Muslim, or either sell it back to Epic City. That is blatant religious discrimination. The development was structured in a way that requires anybody who bought a lot there to abide by Sharia law. That is illegal in Texas. It violates our laws and our values, and imposing Sharia violates the Texas Fair Housing Act. It also violates the law that I'm about to sign, because the law by Candy Noble and Angela Paxson comprehensively addresses not just Epic, but also any compound like Epic, making sure that these compounds will not be able to be built in the state of Texas. This law prevents them from creating no-go zones. It prevents them from selling or renting land only to people who follow Islam. It prevents them from controlling who a buyer can sell their property to. It requires disputes to be resolved by Texas law and Texas courts, not Sharia law. It empowers the Attorney General to shut down developments like Epic and to halt any further development. And while I'm on this topic, I need to discuss a related issue that is taking place in Houston, Texas. I want to comment on recent stories of a Houston area imam who insisted that Muslim-owned businesses must follow Sharia law rather than Texas law. I have what I think is a quote from the imam, and he says, if you live in the neighborhood, you are bound by the rule of the mosques. That is false. It is illegal. No neighborhood in Texas is governed by Sharia law. To be clear, Texas law and Texas courts govern those businesses and those neighborhoods. No ranting imam can change that. The imam that I'm talking about is now under investigation by the Texas Department of Public Safety as well as other law enforcement agencies. The bottom line of all this is this. Imposing Sharia law and principles is illegal in Texas, whether it be on homeowners or businesses. And we will ensure that we have the laws in place that will prevent that, as well as the law enforcement in place to prevent that. So now I'm going to sign this bill 4211. The ban on Sharia law in Texas is now strengthened. And now, Candy Noble.
Thank you, Governor Abbott. I cannot tell y'all just how grateful I am to you that Governor Abbott and his team have been so instrumental in helping us draft and craft a bill that fits so well with Texas law. And I want to